Welcome, everyone. Well, welcome back, I guess I should say. This is the Fourth One podcast for those of you who cannot read and only choose to listen like myself. As always, my name's Micaiah. This is Simeon. We are coming to you live from Lidditz, Pennsylvania, the town most known for the town that hosted Woodstock. We got a packed show for you today. We're going to recap the NFL draft for that. We're going to talk about some sagas that's happening. Some superstars are whining for no reason. A YouTuber is fighting an actual boxer, maybe one of the best of all time. And we got a special guest at the end of the show. So I'm very excited for that. So stick around because all of that is coming up. How are you? You ran a show without me. How'd that go?
According to Mom's review, better than you. So,
yeah. I mean, it has more view. That one video has more views than all the other than like the past 3 weeks videos have gotten. Not combined, but
oh wow,
yeah. So I'm taking a little bit of offense to that.
I'm sorry. I can teach you some of my skills if you want them.
No, because your skills are trash. I'm just beginning to think that people just don't like me.
Because it's garbage!
And see, you still haven't even figured out the soundboard, so.
Okay, well, we talked about this before we started. First of all, not my fault, Zencaster's fault. Second, and more importantly, I've also had a little bit more experience than you because I have my podcast longer, which is specifically interview format. So it's also like...
First off, how dare you?
That's why I'm... Wait, no, I got that one.
Number one, how dare you? Number one, how dare you?
Real quick here, before I get started, much like last week, I want to start with just something a little fun before we dive into the NFL.
Palate cleanser.
A little, palate cleanser before we get started here. All right. You can only pick two. This is dessert related. Again, this is an interactive thing. So first of all, comment down below the two you would choose.
Please.
Here we go. Apple pie, banana pudding, red velvet cake, sweet potato casserole, cheesecake, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, pineapple upside down cake, and cranberry sauce. So right off the top of the bat, just real quick, I'm eliminating like 6 of these.
Yeah, okay. So that was my thought too. First of all, sweet potato casserole is a big thing at some people's Thanksgivings. It's never been, sweet potatoes have not been involved in our Thanksgiving in the history of our lives that I'm aware of. Yep. I mean, I think our aunt might have brought it like one time, and I don't think we touched it, or Mom didn't let us have it, one of the two. Not like we were ever big fans of sweet potatoes. Banana pudding and pineapple upside down case. I've never had banana pudding in my life that I'm aware of.
It's okay, but it's an easy get rid of off this list. And pineapple upside down cake is disgusting, in the words of Alex Messina.
It's disgusting. I might have had pineapple upside down cake. Again, two very classic dishes. Very 1950s, 1960s
Well, and why is cranberry
dishes.
sauce on here? Like, who's sitting down with a bowl of cranberry sauce and just like... Oh.
I mean, I'm a big cranberry sauce fan at Thanksgiving, but like...
Sitting down, watching a Marvel movie with a big bowl of just cranberry sauce just sticking your face right in
pie it. Or red velvet. Okay, so red velvet cake is my favorite cake. So, I'm a big red velvet with chocolate guy. I'm not a cream cheese frosting on my red velvet. I don't like cream cheese frosting. So red velvet's number one. Then you have to pick. I'm not a cheesecake guy. That's going to be when we ask Tabitha later. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Oh, come on, bro. What are you doing?
Sorry. I'm failing.
No one's going to turn in.
Because it's garbage.
Because no one wants to tune into the gamer girl that knows almost nothing about...
No one cares!
About hockey. What are we doing?
Number one, how dare you? Number one, how dare you?
All right.
Listen, man.
No, you're not.
I'm trying. Listen, man.
So what's the other one?
Apple pie. I think for me, I'm guessing I know what yours too.
Well, how well do you know your brother?
Okay, so pumpkin pie hands down. And I'm actually going to go with pecan pie.
So not a bad choice. However,
Okay. Is it cheesecake?
It might be apple pie actually. It might
Okay.
be.
Those were
So the rest
was
of it.
third.
So it's the three pies. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big cheesecake person. I am a big cake person, but it has to be chocolate
Yeah.
cake.
Chocolate
Yeah.
cake is just straight up banger.
Oh.
You know, once you go black, you never go back sort of deal.
Absolutely, 100.
I'll allow it.
100%. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast. We had our dessert first, and now we're going into the main course. So the NFL draft happened last week, just a couple hours after our last pod posted. It was the NFL draft. As always, it was exciting. There were emotional moments. Teams are being criticized for their lack of energy when it came towards picking draft picks, especially the Eagles and the Packers and the Raiders. They just had no emotions. And then you had other teams that just got really excited and were clapping around and giving high fives or fist bumps or whatever they're allowed to do now. So yeah, this is a good sign. So just a couple takeaways and let's run down through it. First of all, I think the first big surprise is, at least for me, is the Bengals took Jamar Chase over Penny Swell or Rashawn Slater. So they took a wide receiver over protection for Joe Burrow. Thoughts?
I didn't Joe Burrow want this pick? Didn't he want Jamar Chase? That's what I'm hearing. That's what I heard. I saw it on a meme. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure he does, but he has T. Higgins, who was producing a lot before Joe Burrow got hurt, and yet Joe Burrow was running for his life a lot. So
they lost AJ Green. I got a lot of people. I don't hate it, but also at the same, what I heard is, you know, it's a deep O-line draft. Okay, you know, we'll see. The draft's always a crapshoot. You know, it's like gambling. You're never quite sure. You're making educated guesses out here. It's a lot of eye tests, not a lot of, you know, this, not a lot of that. So I don't hate it. You know, I think I'm on the I think I'm on the middle. You know, in the middle of the pack. I don't hate it. I think it's good. They lost AJ Green, so it's good to bring in another young, talented receiver who already has chemistry with your probably what could be like a better version of Baker Mayfield. He's more reliable. He was showing very good progress and promise. You have a good quarterback, a good head coach in Cincinnati. So I don't hate it, especially since with their second round, they went and got an O-line guy. Sure. And also it was 2020. Like you never know how you're going to develop. You never know how the guys is. I don't know what their offseason moves were as well.
So
there's
they
that
did
as well.
add some O-line. Here's the thing though. I hate it because we just had an example of you can't, in the Super Bowl, you can have all the top tier weapons you want, and Kansas City arguably has two of the top weapons in the NFL in Zach Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And if you can't protect the quarterback, no matter how good that quarterback is, and Joe Burrow is not nearly we all agree, is not nearly as good as Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't mean much. So some NFL GMs were calling Penny Sewell,
Yeah.
a certified Hall of Famer in this draft, as long as he stays injury-free. People were calling Rashawn Slater a top 5 overall pick, and he went to the Chargers at 13, which helps Justin Herbert. I hate the pick. There are wide receivers are a dime a dozen. Jamar Chase, yes, he is talented. Very, very talented. And he caught 20 touchdowns out of 60 touchdowns from Joe Burrow in 2019 in college. No doubt he's talented. All I'm saying is you had T. Higgins. You can get some other receivers to do it. Taking Jamar Chase isn't going to take you from a 4-win team to an 8-win team this year. Although a decent offensive line might, but That's just my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I think they knew that first of all, two things, and we'll come to this a little bit later. If, in fact, Joe Burrow wanted Jamar Chase, smart move on their half, which what we saw in this offseason with keeping their quarterback happy. That's number one. Number two, I think they know that it's not going to be it's a 3 or 4 year process before they get to where
correct.
They want to be.
But what I'm saying is a 3 to 4 year process, even if say Chase produces a 3 to 4 year process now he wants paid. Joe Burrow in 3 to 4 years needs to be paid, assuming he goes on this track. You're going to have to pay Mixon, who's in the backfield, and yet you're going to have to pay an offensive line. And Jamar Chase, as most wide receiver, well, I can't speak for Jamar Chase because he's not in the league yet, but wide receivers tend to be the more diva of the NFL. They want to be, I mean, just take a look around the league. You have guys like Odell Beckham, and other wide receivers. Who's from LSU, and other wide receivers.
But then you have guys like Jarvis Landry who aren't a diva at all, also from LSU.
So the diva and the talent level go hand in hand. The more talented you are, the more likely you're a diva at the wide receiver position.
I would kind of disagree with that.
I would not.
Tyreek Hill isn't a diva.
Is.
No, he's flamboyant. He's not a diva.
All right. Point, Simeon.
Sorry, Jarvis Landry produced last year.
But it's a different kind of production.
Sure, 100%. But that team threw the ball, spread the ball around. That's why that team is so
And Jarvis and
threatening because they spread the ball around. But Jarvis Landry, I think he seemed when you watch that, when you listen to people, he was the backbone of that wide receiver core. He was, read number one, maybe, sort of deal. So, I mean, okay, fine. We get past the diva thing. I don't hate it. I looked at this. I know you hate it, but there were 25 offensive tackles taken, 13 offensive guards taken, 36 wide receivers taken. Just, it kind of proves your point, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily No, it doesn't because offensive tackles, offensive guards are just a dime a dozen.
So are wide receivers.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it doesn't. In that case, by that logic, it doesn't matter who they took.
I'm sure. Also, I'm sure the Bengals.
And if they took it for who they kept, if you want to talk about divas, this offseason proves that the quarterback is the most important in locker room happiness, and therefore, if they did it to keep the quarterback happy, I need that quarterback for 5 years. I need him for his full rookie contract to produce. I'm going to keep him happy because I don't want to start over again. See, let's look at the list. The New York Jets, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco. I like
so
that.
They're trying to keep him happy, but he hasn't proven anything. He's proven
he can be he's proven not generational talent, but he's proven he can be a franchise quarterback.
He's proven that he can have a good half season.
Well, that's because he got injured.
I don't care.
Then throw out Then throw out Carson Wentz, who you've gone on a rant for, because he's only proven he can have a good.
Carson Wentz did it for 2 full seasons.
Okay, we haven't seen him yet.
What do you mean we haven't seen him?
We can do it for half a season.
We saw him for 2 full seasons.
I'm saying no, not Carson Wentz. For
Joe Burrow.
For freaking Joe Burrow, thank you. So we haven't seen him yet. If you can do it for half a season, the likelihood of you regressing for the amount of skill that he showed for the half a season, he's not going to regress.
Okay, well,
he's not on the Jets.
First of all, it's called a sophomore slump. Lamar Jackson got worse in his second full season. Okay, so
sure, he also has a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, but there's no, he's not.
You've had that. I'm proving your point.
He's not.
Discussion.
John Harbaugh is not a defensive, or John Harbaugh is not a defensive-minded head coach. He's a special teams. His background's in special teams.
Special teams and defense are basically
not at
the
all.
same thing.
Not at all. Special teams, no. Yes. Special teams a special teams coach is able to view the roster more because he has players from all over the roster.
Sure, but I still he's not an offensive minded head coach. Call him the ugly third child. I don't care. But he's
I'd
still
much
not
rather
an
have
offensive minded
have
head
a special
coach.
team, a background in a special head coach with special teams background than a head coach with defensive background.
Okay, that's great, but a special teams
No,
coordinator
but back to my point. Joe Burrow has no pull yet to keep happy. Now, if you want to throw out, they're trying to make Joe Burrow the most comfortable he can going forward, great. I'm all with that. 100%. That's probably what they're doing. I have a nasty sore on the side of my tongue that is flaring its ugly head. So I'm in some pain here. So I'm just going to push through.
That's okay. My arm's starting to get sore
All
from
right.
my
So this
COVID
is just
shot.
sore. So you don't mind the pick from Cincinnati?
I really don't.
I don't
get why everybody's
throwing
their head. Okay, that's fine. You can be wrong. It's okay.
Well, let's keep tally.
Because it's
Molly
garbage.
or Molly? Oh my goodness,
Because
Mom,
it's garbage.
keep tally. We'll see who's right at the end of the road in a few years. Because that's the thing.
I will eat hot sauce if I'm right. I will eat that hot sauce. If
you
I'm
will
right.
eat hot sauce if you're right.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
I see. Okay. All right.
Also, go put some hot sauce on that sore. See what happens.
Ooh. It's like on the side, like underneath my tongue. Oh, it hurts so bad. But I'm gonna put.
That's the
But
worst
I am
place
an
for it to be.
athlete. I'm pushing through.
It's like the one that's right at the
All right. Chicago.
Hold on, I have one.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
Chicago traded a fortune to move up to 11 to get the ever so falling Justin Fields. First of all, the Niners did not take Mac Jones. They took Trey Lance, which I think was the better pick. He's athletic. Kyle Shanahan likes to move the pocket. He can use his athleticism until... I don't know how his throwing ability is going to be, but he can definitely use his athleticism. It'll be a very kind of quarterback. They're a running team anyway. They're going to run the ball a lot, both with the running backs and now the quarterback. Short, simple passes. Kittle's going to be open all the time. I love that pick.
Your urinating tree put it this way. He has the biggest gap when it comes to development possibilities of any of the quarterbacks taken, just due to the fact of where he played and the amount of time he played and so on and so forth. I agree with you, though, that I think it was a good pick.
He doesn't have to play this year. He can sit behind Garoppolo for a full year before they ship Garoppolo off. It can be and
I think Garoppolo should pull an Alex Smith / not Kirk, well, kind of Kirk Cousins, and just and Aaron Rodgers, and just big dick energy all over the San Francisco 49ers and just tear it up this year.
Garoppolo?
Just do it. Just screw them over. Just raise your middle finger and make people question it,
Garoppolo's not that talented.
He got them to the Super Bowl last year. The year before that.
The running
was the NFC
running
Championship
game and the defense got him to the Super Bowl.
Okay, but you could say the same thing for Aaron Rodgers. No, you couldn't, but I just wanted to say that.
So anyway, Chicago has had a long list of drafting quarterbacks and then it not working out and not being able to develop it. So this really comes down to, we both think Justin Fields was the second best quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence in this draft. So it really comes down to, can Chicago finally develop a quarterback? They have an offensive-minded head coach. They have an offensive-minded GM. They have good weapons. They have a great defense. It's probably going to be Justin Fields' job. He's going to have to go in and win it. My guess is he's going to win it and start from day one. At least I would start him from day one. You got a good running game in Mr. Montgomery in the backfield. Not Ty Montgomery. Maybe it is Ty Montgomery.
I'll look at it.
You got a great running game, great defense. It's going to be his show. So if this goes south...
Sorry, Ty Montgomery.
I know. It didn't.
He's currently on the New Orleans Saints. You're thinking of him when he was on
Packers.
the... Packers. I'll look up
His
the Bears.
his last name is Montgomery, I think.
David Montgomery.
David, that's it. David Montgomery. I'm sorry, David. I really enjoyed you watching you at Iowa State. I really did. Haha, I knew where he went to college, even just didn't know his name. I think that...
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. Well, Dick, here's the deal.
Shut up. I clicked off of you.
So,
Again, this freaking board.
Matt Nagy, now the Matt Nagy clock is ticking, okay?
For sure. This is the Seattle Seahawks all over again.
He has a year to do this. And listen, you're going to be in a division possibly without Aaron Rodgers. You have Kirk Cousins and you have Jared Goff and a rebuilding Detroit Lions situation. There's at least a wild card spot open. Your roster is good enough to possibly get in the wild card, if not win the division if Aaron Rodgers isn't there.
We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers in a little bit, but I have a question for you. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, let's just say he's gone, okay? Retires or whatever. Does the NFC North turn into the NFC East last year?
Where it's bad football teams?
Where it's going to be the worst league. Do you think the NFC East will will cover the ground?
I think so. Can the NFC North become the NFC East? Yeah.
There's always one bad division every year.
Great possibility. Sure.
For a couple of years, it was the AFC South, but now
for sure, there's that's a real possibility. Now, the thing is, I don't think it'll be as bad as the NFC East because all those teams play defense and really good defense, really quality.
Yeah,
every single team, even the Lions, forget what they did last year. They're going to play quality defense this year. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be physical. So, I think you could look at that division being all around 500. If Aaron,
what did they trade for him?
If Aaron leaves
for a fifth, Chicago traded a fifth round, alongside their 2022 first and fourth. Holy crap!
Yeah, they gave up a boatload, so they're really hoping that he.
It's also kind of a steal. I think he's going to produce. I think even if he doesn't produce in 4 years, when he'd be out of his rookie contract, he's going to build you to the place where you're just a quarterback away. Right.
Yeah.
So, is it too much for that type of player? 100%. But at the same time,
but I don't think so because again, I would have paid that if I'm Chicago. I would have paid that because again, I think he was the second best quarterback in the draft.
Or you're right. He has the second biggest upside. Right. I think it's him, then Mac Jones, then Trey Lance. In that order, who have the largest upside?
I think the largest upside. I think it's Field, Lance, Jones. I think Lance is only scratching the surface. Lance is a bigger version of Lamar Jackson, basically.
Who can throw
better,
more accurate. Yeah. What are his measurables? Sorry. Really?
So while you look up Trey Lance, I'm going to run down. I'm going to speed this.
Go to the next one. We're
Eagles stayed pat. Well, actually, they moved it. They swapped with Dallas, and they moved up to 10th, and they got Devontae Smith, who was falling at the time. Did they finally get a receiver that can produce for them and be a franchise receiver?
Yes.
I think so. Yes, I am very high on Devontae Smith,
Huge.
Even though you can't get his name right. But I think that the next step is paying. is paying the receivers because the Eagles have a history of letting good draft picks on the offensive side of the ball just walk away. I mean, Jeremy Maclin, they didn't pay big money to. Deshaun Jackson, they didn't pay big money to. Like, they'll pay their offensive line huge money, but Devontae Smith's going to produce. I have almost zero doubt in my mind about that. And so in 3 to 4 years, when Devontae Smith once paid, and probably be deservingly so, are the Eagles going to pay him? And it's always up to, well, if you pay the wide receiver, do you have enough money, and you're paying the quarterback, assuming Jalen Hurts works out, and you're paying some big guys on the offensive line, who else is out there around your team? So are the Eagles actually going to foster that relationship with a big-time wide receiver is the question, I think.
So they have depth everywhere, but they're all question marks. I'm just looking at their current roster here. I can't spell either Eagles or roster. Oh, I did get the Eagles and rosters thing. All right, let's look at here, the Eagles roster. So obviously they have last position. Wide receiver is going to be at the bottom. I'm sorry, I'm just talking. So they have uno, dos, tres,
great
cuatro, cinco,
podcasting
seis,
right now.
7 wide receivers on their depth chart right now, not including their draft picks.
So
did they really cut their last? Oh, there he is. Okay, so obviously Jalen Reagor, their first round pick last year,
Reagor's going to stick around. Yep.
Injured. He has to develop. They have Callie Tate also, which is interesting. Who was a rookie last year. I guess that's what it's saying here. And they have a lot. John Hightower and JJ
Arcega-Whiteside. Arcega-Whiteside is going to be cut. He has been a bust. One of Howie's many, but he's going to be cut.
So I think the two things that we learned via this draft in the picking, and they have a ton of depth at RB too, is Howie is on the hot seat. They have to produce
for
this
sure.
year.
No, yeah,
that's
exactly the point I was going to make.
Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, they all have to produce, and their QB has to produce. And if not, he's fired. And Doug Peterson might also be out of a job. And if they don't
Doug
produce,
Peterson has been out of a job for a long time now.
Oh, that's right. He got fired.
Wow.
I forgot he got fired.
Wow.
I thought they picked Doug Peterson over Carson Wentz, remember?
Nope, they did not. Well,
So
they
who's the new head
did,
coach?
and then they traded Carson Wentz anyway.
And then they still got rid of him anyway. Who's their new head coach?
Nick Sirianni, the Colts OC
That's
from
right.
last year, Frank Reich-Tree.
That
Yeah.
was-
So the Steelers went run.
Which is actually funny enough it would be an Andy Reid tree, technically.
So the Steelers went running back, as they do.
Everybody hates it. I like it.
So I like who they drafted, the player who they drafted, Najee Harris. I think he's a very hard worker. He needs a little work on catching the ball out of the backfield, which is what the Steelers really primarily do with their running backs. But Najee's very athletic, as proven by in the national semifinal, the hurdle, and then the 50-yard touchdown right after the hurdle. So he needs to work on his pass catching out of the backfield a little bit. But I think I hate it because the Steelers, you need to go quarterback, you need to go receiver, you need to go offensive line because you just had a whole bunch of retirement on the offensive line. You need tight end help. Like, you need so much more help outside of running back. Your running backs were never your problem. Your quarterback, whose arm is legitimately just disintegrating and his decision making is disintegrating as the season went on, and your wide receivers' inability to get open as the season went on because teams' defenses were figuring you guys out, I think kind of overrode the running the running backs as a collective weren't terrible. The wide receivers were. Why wouldn't you try to go get a wide receiver?
So there's a couple things here. I think it's a better draft pick than the Jaguars taking ETN. And which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold that thought. I don't hate it because, first of all, who are they going to draft a quarterback that's going to replace Ben Roethlisberger? Who's going to be a franchise QB at what position were they at? Sorry, I have it up here at 24. Who are they going to get? Kelly Mond?
Davis Mills?
Kyle Trask?
Davis Mills?
No, none of these guys are going to replace Ben Roethlisberger. This is what the Steelers are hoping. Let me let you into their mind right now. Okay, first of all, 100% about you take offensive line. That's what you take over running back. So I agree with you there. Okay, you need somewhere to go through. Okay, it's a bad pick, but it's not as bad as you think it is. Ben Roethlisberger, you want to get 1 year out of Ben Roethlisberger. You tell your wide receivers to get off of TikTok and actually do work and do better. Okay? Don't they also have a new OC?
Yeah.
So they have a new OC. You hope that he fixes a few things. So you get 1 year out of Ben Roethlisberger, then you don't know what the free agency plus who decides to show up next year to the NCAA. Okay? That's what you hope. You strengthen your RB, which you've been lacking, no offense, a run game. I get that you have to have an O-line to produce an O game, but you haven't had a good running back since Le'Veon Bell, and you need a run game so that you don't just cover their wide receivers and, then you take away the Steelers' offense. So that's why I don't hate it. I hate it because you needed O-line, and running backs are just like wide receivers and a dime a dozen, but I don't hate it because there's not a good quarterback. No offense to Kyle Trask. I think he's going to be better than people think he is.
He may now be sitting behind Tom Brady.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And, you don't have a good quarterback there that's going to be able to develop in 2 years. Okay. The good quarterbacks are gone at this point. Your O-line, okay, you should have taken that. Don't need a wide receiver.
Yes, you do.
And your defense is one of the best. Okay, hold on. First, Uno. Your defense is one of the best defenses.
Yes.
You would just be going for
no,
depth
100.
There,
No. You don't need defense. You need a wide receiver. That's what I was.
No, you don't. You need your wide receivers to be wide receivers. You want to talk about diva wide receivers? That's what both of them turned into. I don't know what it says. What Pittsburgh says about Parties Town. It's not.
You don't know.
And Mom can tell you a story about that.
You don't know.
Pittsburgh. He's taking me to Pittsburgh.
You don't know that. Pat McAfee's from Pittsburgh.
Listen. No, Pat McAfee's from Morgantown, West Virginia. Pat McAfee, yeah, I'm telling you, Pat McAfee is the party in Pittsburgh. The McAfees are the party in Pittsburgh.
Listen,
okay?
Pittsburgh, I think, gets a bad rap for not being a party. I think it's a little party city.
No, but they're redneck party town. Okay,
redneck party town, still party
town. Okay, that's fine, but you need your wide receivers to actually want to do their job. That's the problem with wide receivers. They don't want to do their job.
Then bring in someone else who wants to do their job.
But but it's the position. It's the position. Me and you played flag football, and we know how much of divas and idiots football players are. I don't know how
I understand that, but if you get a college kid who wants to
and catch
if you get a college guy who wants to stay in the NFL, and then you're putting him up against Juju, who's there on a 1-year deal, who do you think that's going to motivate Juju to work harder?
Yeah, but I can draft a very fast D3 kid. I can sign him out of free agency and do the same exact thing. I think what it turns
into is the fact that the Steelers took the best player available, and they wanted.
And I don't think he was. I think an O-line person was the best for their needs. I think it was O-line. That's where I agree with you.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, I'm going to butt into this podcast.
Clearly, you're just.
I'm awake. I am double.
Did you have your cocaine this morning?
I had my morning cocaine and my morning coffee. I had
your heart's just hanging on.
And I am double shotted up for that Microsoft implant. We are having a good day. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to the next topic. Okay. Which is Mac Jones.
You just want to run this podcast? You want me to log off and you just do this by yourself?
No, I want you to be here. I just want you to be wrong,
okay.
You know?
Well, I'm not going to be...
Here's the deal.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The double champ does whatever the bleep he wants. Okay? That's
and you're the double champ of what? Getting Devontae Smith's name wrong?
Exactly.
Matt.
I thought that was a very good pick for
that was probably I mean, we'll see how Mac Jones does after only one full season starting in college. Patriots may have just rebooted the dynasty. Maybe.
Well, we knew that they were a quarterback away last year.
They just spent a gaggle of money in free agency to upgrade the tight end position and the wide receiver position. Their offensive line's a top offensive line. They got good running backs. And now I can't remember the last time where a team lost a quarterback and then went to the draft and basically just found him again and brought him in.
Did you see his walk? I'm sorry. That is the most.
I didn't. Was it swagalicious?
No, it was. It looked like.
Did it look like a white guy?
The guys who have really big butts and forget to lean backwards. They don't have a strong back.
Charles Barkley.
Because they have such a dumb
Charles
truck.
Barkley.
Yeah. He walked like Charles Barkley. And it looked hilarious, but it also is at the same time. I feel like you get him in the right strength and conditioning coach, like Devontae Adams. Dude's gonna. And the right quarterback coach. Isn't Josh Daniels still there?
Why did you say Devontae Adams?
Devontae Smith.
Okay.
Because it's garbage.
So I'm just going to take over this podcast now. So Mac Jones, what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady is a cerebral quarterback. He will not kill you with athleticism. He will kill you with accurate passes and being cerebral. Mac Jones, the exact same way. He's not going to kill you with athleticism, arm strength. He's going to kill you with accurate passes and
listen, man, I'm
cerebral.
trying.
Try harder.
Listen, man,
okay. So I think that the Patriots. Now, saying they found the next Tom Brady would be blasphemous to Tom Brady, absolutely. But they found a player whose skill set is very similar to Tom Brady's, and they're hoping that will reboot it. I thought that it was an excellent pick. I was kind of hoping that the Patriots, because I want to see if it truly was all Tom Brady. I'm of the mindset it was a closer to 50-50 split, but Tom Brady just went to Tampa and now has all these weapons and now just won a Super Bowl, and the Patriots didn't do so hot because their front seven opted out and Cam Newton was the quarterback, and let's be honest, it's Cam Newton at this point, 30-some-year-old Cam Newton. So I kind of want to see. Like, I think that the Patriots, and if the Patriots win the division, now they still have the Browns and still have the Chiefs in conference. But listen, I think that Mike Greenberg on Get Up yesterday said that it's not just players who have scorched earth tours as Tom Brady did last year. Coaches have that too, and Belichick's a prideful man, and he's going to want to come and show that it wasn't just all his Hall of Fame quarterback for a period of time.
I think that's what he's. Yeah. I think that's exactly what happened. Sure. I think he saw Tom. I think it's a little bit of what it is. He saw Tom Brady and he said, "Okay, people are going to judge me. Let me show you how good of an administrator I am." Because that's really how good. When you have such a coaching carousel or spinning door as Bill Belichick did, and you still win so many Super Bowls with like no drop off in production. That means you're a good administrator. Yeah. And so he's then going to say, okay, now I don't have my Hall of Fame GOAT of a quarterback. Time to show you how good I am. I think it's a good call.
For sure. The Cowboys, I wanted to comment on this because this has kind of been a trend. Well, really since Jerry Jones has been there, but most recently within the last 5 to 10 years, the Cowboys go high risk, high reward on a lot of their draft picks. Now, they got Micah Parsons, who I think will be a star. However, he had some off-field issues at Penn State. So, I mean...
Who doesn't have off-field issues at Penn State?
Saquon Barkley.
That's about it.
So...
It's Penn State. It's middle of nowhere. You're bound to have off-field issues.
So, but, in the past, they've gotten offensive linemen that have off-field issues. And they took Zeke Elliott, who had... diva issues. Dak.
Who was the lineman? Greg something. The guy who I think it was his wife or something like that from Carolina.
Well, they took Aldon Smith, who has drug issues. They paid him last year more than they were paying.
They don't. He doesn't care. He's running a football team.
Yeah, they had Randy Gregory. That was his name.
Regular.
It's something. I think his last name.
What did you say, Randy Gregory?
Maybe I'm wrong.
See who Randy Gregory is. There is a defensive end named Randy Gregory. Good
Thank
job.
you.
I could have sworn it was Randy.
No, we're talking about two.
Nope. We're talking about two different people. That was the guy who played for Nebraska.
Yes, who was also a Cowboy, who had drug issues, who was a high risk, high reward type players. They've taken many offensive linemen in the past. That's worked out so far. They're wide receivers. We all know about, Amari Cooper, which really isn't a high risk, and he was free agent, but they took Zeke in the backfield.
Oh, it's high risk because they paid him so much.
Right. So the Cowboys have this history of going high risk, high reward draft picks. And then when they have just a little bit of production, they pay them boatloads of money. And it hurts the team in the long run. So eventually, though, you would have to do the math, and the math is probably out there, that eventually these picks are going to hit and the Cowboys are going to have a stacked team. But all I'm saying is, when you keep choosing high risk, high reward players,
Greg
Hardy, that was his name. Thank you. When you keep choosing high risk, high reward players, it's going to bite you in the butt 9 times out of 10. But on that 10th time, you're going to have a stacked team. They took a kid from Kentucky who had, in the second round, who was having issues at LSU and then transferred to Kentucky. So their draft was just littered with high risk, high reward. So if you're an Eagles fan, much like me, you're feeling pretty good right now. And you're just hoping that this is 9 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10, because that 10 out of 10 is going to suck.
Yeah, so Greg Hardy, real quick, just has been out of the league since 2015. That was on me. He's in the UFC now, and much like his domestic charges, he knocks people out right now. He's had 7 wins and 6 by knockout.
All right.
He's also had 3 losses.
There you go. So when he's not knocking people out, he loses, much like his personal life.
Hey!
Speaking of, well, I actually can't make a transition from domestic abuse that we really shouldn't be making fun of.
Speaking of hate, Goodell really embraced the hate of the draft.
I've seen this change in Roger Goodell recently.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think he knows that he's the evil empire and is totally okay with it.
Which is kind of weird, because now it's making some fans, kind of like me and you, kind of be like, actually, you're kind of cool.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you're going to be evil, be Bill Belichick. If you're going to be evil, lean into it.
So for those of you who don't know, Roger Goodell has always been viewed as the big bad Thanos of
very owners forward, not player forward. He's the anti-Adam Silver.
He has been what is that comic book character's name? Dredd, where he's judge, jury, and executioner.
Oh, Dr. Dredd.
Dr. Dredd.
Yeah.
He's judge, jury, and
no, not Dr. Dredd. Sorry,
I think it is.
Yeah, Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. He's judge, jury, executioner. He's come down with punishments that have one person, Ray Rice beat his wife in the elevator, knocked some people out in the elevator, and only got 2 games. And then you had Greg Hardy, who had multiple domestic abuse charges and only got 5. And so he comes down with punishments out of left field. Now that there are task forces and other stuff, there are better, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent punishments.
Yeah, stuff in place, basically. Systems in place to help him do his job. But people really
hated Roger Goodell, and still do, for a long period of time. Now he's going to now when he walks on stage to announce draft picks, they boo him. He eggs them on, doing this motion, like, come on, let me hear you. He makes draft picks from chairs because he just doesn't give a bleep anymore.
Exactly.
He's really become, why he is still very much a owner's commissioner. I think he's embracing the hate, and he's like, players, what I'm trying to do is for the good of you, but more importantly, it is for the good of the league, and there has to be a league for you guys to get paid. And so, yeah, I'll be Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, I'll be Thanos. Yeah, I'll take the hate. I'll snap my fingers and erase half the universe. But you know what? When you look on it, there's actually, it ends up being correct, the correct decision. What people think, what they missed in Avengers is when Thanos snapped, it actually, what his motive was, why, yes, he murdered billions of people. It actually helped the Earth,
Trillions of people would be more precise. Trillions of beings, I guess I would say, across the universe.
Yes, I guess because it is multiple universes, not just the world. I can't. What are you whispering?
Oh, I said I love you. I'm being weird. I can hear me.
I can't hear you.
Turn myself up?
Roger Goodell is just excellent.
Roger Goodell is Thanos.
Yes. That's name of podcast. Book it. Roger Goodell is Thanos. And just so did you see during the broadcast? Well, probably not. I was watching the ABC portion, and it had the guys from College Game Day on, and all of these teammates kept going to the same team. So Devontae Smith went to the Eagles, who's joining Jalen Hurts. You have Jamar Chase joining Joe Burrow. Waddle's joining Tua down in Miami. ETN's joining Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Yep.
The Eagles drafted an Alabama center to join Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. So Kirk Herbstreit goes at one point, I've never seen what is it? I've never seen this. Why do teammates keep getting drafted to the same team? Because college football is so top heavy that's where all the talent is.
I want to show you this. This is really funny. Wikipedia on the draft, the American Conference. Okay, 19 players drafted from the American Conference. Yep. Okay, Pac-12, 28 players. Okay, that's it. But the bigger schools, right? ACC, 42.
Okay. Going up.
Big 10, 44. Okay. SEC, 65. Just blows them all out of the water.
So let's not get it twisted. No. That's where all the talent is. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get teammates on the same team because they're on the best teams and getting the best coaching. So that's why
Alabama and Georgia had and Florida. Alabama 10, Georgia 9, Florida 8, LSU 7, Kentucky 6. All SEC teams. Yes. Yes, Kentucky is an SEC team.
Ohio State, 10.
No, Kentucky's SEC.
No, Kentucky's SEC. Ohio State, 10. Michigan, 8. So while I do say that Jim Harbaugh should have been fired because I felt like he lost the locker room kind of watching it. He got his contract extension, which is you're not starting over if you're Michigan, which is fine. I'm going to be a Harbaugh supporter. Yeah. Okay. He rebuilt the entire defensive staff. Love it. He added some pieces to the offensive staff. He brought in NFL guys, trusted NFL guys mostly from his brother's staff. And even with the weak defensive staff and offensive staff he's putting players into the league. He's not that far off from Ohio State. Now, Ohio State has better talent and is having more guys drafted higher than Michigan, but he's getting player into the league. So as a Michigan fan, I look at it as a very promising outcome, I guess, or hopeful outcome, not promising, because, it's Michigan 100%. And they'll break my heart. Okay, so before we move on, as always, we are sponsored by Ranch. Do you think salt is seasoning, everyone? I sure do. Do you think ketchup is a vegetable? Absolutely, I do. I answered yes to these. You need to try our new sponsor, Ranch Dressing. It is creamy goodness, will spice up any meal. Of course, not literally, because of course that's why you're using Ranch. I'm going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings tonight for dinner. You bet my side, not blue cheese. Ugh. ranch dressing, everybody. Use it on chicken, noodles, pizza, or that meal that your wife makes that you simply can't stand. Simeon knows what I'm talking about. If you use the promo code 4th and 1, you'll get 25% off your first order plus free shipping. Again, promo code 4th and 1 at ranch.com.
Moving on.
The NFL sent a memo regarding Jawan James, who is an offensive lineman for the Broncos, who tore his Achilles. He was working out privately away from team facilities, which are open. He could have been using. And now his $9.5 million guaranteed contract this year is up for they can choose to not pay him. This is kind of where Goodell is why he's known as Thanos, because he backs things like this. Now, again, Jawan James could have been using the Broncos practice facility, and if he would have been hurt at the facility, he would have been guaranteed that 9.5. But because he was working out privately on his own away from team facilities, the Broncos don't necessarily have to pay him $9.5 million. Thoughts?
That's stupid.
So
you don't want your players to work out. Now, I get it. You have the ability, you have people, but when not Outside the Lines, what's the HBO special that they do every year for a team?
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. They went to the Texans one year, and JJ Watt did an extra workout at like 10 p.m. Yep. And like that was a big deal. Maybe he did for the cameras. I don't care. But like you don't want your players working out. Yes, I want my players working out. I will cover you. It's your job. I'm working from home right now. You're not going to cover me with what I decide I need for my job. Like, no, your employer is going to cover you.
So I've been back and forth. At first, I was like, "Well, that's dumb." I was right there with you, and then I thought about it a little bit, and I'm not gonna take the side of this necessarily. I'm not gonna go 100%, but I will play devil's advocate. These facilities are millions of dollars, state of the art. If you're an athlete, first of all, why wouldn't you work out there? Second of all, if you're spending millions of dollars to give and provide equipment, it's not just equipment, it's training,
right?
It's massages, Deshaun Watson. It's it's trainers, it's massage therapists, athletics trainers, PT. It's all realms of physical. It's nutritionists, physical body wellness is provided by these teams in these facilities. So if I'm a team and I'm like, I'm just going to throw out a rough number because I have no idea, $50 million to build you a facility.
Yeah.
And all I ask is that if you want to work out in the off season, you're being paid $9.5 million this year. So you have been there a long time. You are an established along our offensive line. So that means you're not a 1 year, you're not a 1 year deal player. You have a house there in somewhere around the Denver, Colorado area. You're telling me you can't make it in and practice at the facility. So yeah, I'm going to actually take the side and I'm going to say, should they have to pay him the entire 9.5? I'm going to say no. Do I think that they should pay him something? Absolutely, because it's an Achilles injury and he was training to prepare for the season.
So two
Cut
things.
It in half. Pay him 4.5.
I understand you. I understand. Two things. One, if he was working out with somebody who's not on the team, they're not going to be allowed into the facility. So you're not always going to be working out. You're not going to be throwing. Tom Brady's not always going to be throwing the ball to Antonio Brown. He needs other people to catch for him. They're not allowed into the facility. If he was weight training, 100%, I agree with you. Go freaking use the weight room at your facility. It's quiet. You don't have to deal with people, whatever. But at the same time, if Tom Brady did the same thing, they're paying him his full contract. Are you kidding me? I think it's a bigger deal because it's the NFL stance and not the team stance.
And this isn't a new rule that the Denver Broncos or nothing has been reported that he won't get paid. So so this isn't. The headline is NFL sends memo reminding club the league will not pay for players who suffer injuries away. So this is a rule that has always been in place.
Maybe.
So this isn't just some random thing that boom, Thanos is snapping his fingers and making this a rule because the NFL's hurting for money. First of all, the NFL's not hurting for money. This has always been a rule, and that's just a risk you have to take. So with it, I didn't know it had always been a rule. And once I found out it had always been a rule, I'm like, yeah, then rules are rules. You know this, and that's a risk you have to take. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's just where I'm at with it.
I'm always going to be on the player's side.
I understand. And most of the time I am. But in this situation, it was an established rules. They have multi-million-dollar facilities. They have people you can work out with there. Go to the facility and work out with people.
I'll allow it.
And you said that he's probably working out with someone that isn't allowed in the team facility. You kidding me? There are ways to sneak people.
I'm sure there's an approval process. I'm sure
there's
is.
an approval, and
if not, there should be.
You can sneak people in. Like, these players are smart. You can sneak people in.
Do you know the security in some of these buildings? No, they can't sneak people in.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure if you know your ins and outs, you can sneak people inside doors.
I'm going to press X for doubt on that one, but still.
I'll allow it.
So, speaking of being on the player side, Aaron Rodgers, everything going down. Adam
Not
Schefter,
on the player side in this one.
About 2 hours after, before the draft, mind you, sorry, broke, and we'll talk a little bit of how he broke that Aaron Rodgers basically wants out of Green Bay. Very upset, frustrated with how they're handling everything and how they're handling team building. Thoughts, processes.
So Aaron Rodgers is being a diva, but so a couple things.
Yeah.
For those franchises, players, people outside, it is very rare for a player to start and finish, assuming it is a very long career, not one of these 3-year careers, start and finish a NFL, NBA, whatever career for the same team. Look around the league. Right. Tom Brady, Carson Wentz.
No one's going to disagree with you.
Right.
Move on.
Okay, great. Wonderful. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, okay. So it is very unreasonable to say, well, Aaron Rodgers should just want to stay there. After a while, and for those of you who have been married long enough who listen to this podcast, seeing the same person over and over and over again will start to grind on you a little bit and there will just be some natural friction that happens over an extended relationship. Now, things can be added to that, as in the Packers moving up in last year's, not this year's draft, last year's draft, giving away draft capital to draft your replacement, who could have been drafted in the second round. You consistently draft defensive players in the first round and not offensive players in the first round.
Because it's garbage.
So
I fixed it. Okay.
All right. You figured it out in the middle of my montage. Thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome. It's what I do.
So the Packers have not helped. Aaron Rodgers have not helped with this. He's releasing petty comments. When people ask him about his future in Green Bay, he doesn't say, yeah, I want to be here. He says, that's not up to me. When he's asked about his contract, it's not up to me. Kind of just being real passive aggressive. And for those of you who are married or who are in a relationship, you know that communication is key. And they're just not on the same page anymore. Now, what I will disagree with Aaron Rodgers about this is they built him a pretty nice team. His offensive line is pretty good. His running back is pretty good. His wide receiver corpse is pretty...
Core. You're looking for
core. Did I say corpse? Yikes.
You said corpse.
Well, some of
Listen, man, I'm trying.
he
Listen,
has.
man.
I thought you said you fixed it.
No, I'll tell you later.
He has Devontae Adams. He has a good tight end. They made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and Aaron Rodgers. I'm just gonna put that out there. That loss was on you. It was 3rd and goal from the 8, and all you had to do was scramble. And even if you don't make a touchdown, you're getting it down to the 1-yard line, where now you make it virtually impossible for your head coach Matt LaFleur to kick the field goal. So I'm going to put that one on you, because you literally went 3 straight passes. 2 times in the red zone, you went 6 straight passes to Devontae Adams, and who was not open, and they covered him. And you could have ran it in, or at least gotten it very close that one time. So that's on you. But what I will say this. So I think it is a healthy mixture. This impending divorce, in my opinion, it should be an impending divorce, is a healthy mixture of both parties. Aaron, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is being a diva. The Packers are digging their heels in, and the Packers really should just trade him away, get as much capital as they can, and just start this whole finding a new quarterback to replace him.
Okay. Good for me. I'm not gonna argue with it. I just think it's semantics at this point, with me agreeing or not agreeing with you.
So real quick, where do you think he ends up?
Jeopardy. No.
I mean, that's a real possibility.
I don't think, if I'm a team, I don't want to set a precedent by taking him. I don't care how good he is. B, what? Steelers. That's about it. You kick Ben Roethlisberger to the term, and you go to the Steelers.
He has 2 years left on his contract. For those 2 years, It's going to be the exact same thing with James. That's happening with James Harden. James Harden was a diva to get out of Houston. Did some things that he regrets. Said some things that he said that he regrets. But he had to do it to get out of the situation that was falling off of a cliff. And now he is the greatest teammate ever in Brooklyn. Everyone loves him. He's the point guard. He was playing at an MVP type level before he got hurt. If you're Aaron, are you just saying things and doing things to get you out of Green Bay? And then for the final 2 years left on your deal, you're going to be the greatest teammate ever. And you're going to sit quietly in the back. You're going to mentor young receivers and lead them to championship, wherever he may end up. Now, I will say, Denver's been getting a lot of hype here that they have the most capital to give up. And you've seen this story before, right, with Peyton Manning. So I think that, so you're saying Pittsburgh, which I don't think will happen, but I'm going to say Denver.
I don't think it will happen either.
Denver or Oakland?
Denver's the person, who you can go to Denver, you can go
Las
to
Vegas.
The Texans, you can go to the Raiders, you can go to insert name here. There's a lot of people who could use him.
And if I'm another team, why aren't you trying to? Because Aaron Rodgers still got a lot left in the tank.
I think it's a little bit like Kaepernick. You don't want to set the precedent of dealing with him. The NFL isn't like the NBA. It's not a player's league.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think you'll have to deal with him. Because I think that some of the stuff he's doing
until he's not happy and he complains again.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
It's not like James
that's what I'm saying. For the
about
remainder of his contract, he's not going to complain again.
Okay.
Yeah. That at least that
I don't know.
Why,
I don't know the guy. Like, I'm gonna be on Pat McAfee here. I'm just gonna let it develop. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna be clap my hands.
Do you want?
Let's go
do you want
ball.
to bring up because Pat McAfee had some strong words about Adam Schefter yesterday?
He did. So the reason that Adam Schefter is kind of getting a little bit of heat right now is he broke it 2 hours before. There wasn't a strong source, quote unquote, and because it wasn't a strong source, people are kind of getting up at him because he broke it 2 hours before the draft. Doesn't matter team, not team. It doesn't matter, Aaron Rodgers' side, whatever. He broke it 2 hours before, and so people are upset about him. I don't care. Like he has.
Did he have?
It's Adam
Was he
Schefter.
sitting on this information for a while, or is that just when he found
what
out?
He said he was on the Dan Patrick show, I think. And what he said was he's known this. He's been putting pieces together for a year. He didn't have a confirmation until basically he called the Green Bay Packers, or ESPN called the Green Bay Packers for a comment. Basically, they said, "Hey, we're going with this story. You know, do you want to comment?"
So
on
he's
it?
been,
which is why you say league and team sources most likely.
So he was putting the pieces together, but then once he got confirmation, he broke the story.
He didn't get confirmation. That's what they're saying. Is ESPN? He was going to write the story anyway. So when you write the story anyway, the correct journalistic thing to do is to call up the people you're going to be quoting and say, "Hey, I'm writing this. You know, I'm writing the story. Do you want to comment on it?" In which case, if they don't say anything, you're commenting that, you know, you've confirmed it. Basically, is what you're saying.
I don't have a problem with it because you wait a day and break it the day after the first day of the draft. It's going to...
I think it's a bigger deal for Adam Schefter because he was assuming things.
But he wasn't...
I think that's more his problem. I don't care.
But
Adam, you're right. I don't care.
But
no one thought that Aaron Rodgers was happy in Green Bay.
Right. Exactly.
No one thought that. If anybody who said, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers loves it here," was delusional and is delusional, and you should go to your local
100%
shrink and get.
It's going to steal the headlines no matter when it comes out, unless if something else big, huge is going on. It's going to steal the spotlight because it's the NFL,
and also
which is the number one news getter.
You should provide this information before the draft, which is when you have the most capital.
When all eyes literally are on your network, absolutely. 100%.
You're not stealing it from the kids, you're not doing anything. You're doubling down your network from a network perspective, and also the teams need to know the information. I'm sure the GMs knew the information, but still, you know, the fan base needs to know the information. You should know, because what if all of the sudden Jacksonville had traded the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick, basically traded Trevor Lawrence for Aaron Rodgers, which could have happened.
That would have been awesome.
You're not wrong. That immediately puts them in contention. As soon as that came out, like literally a half an hour after we recorded last week's podcast, I immediately texted my girlfriend and said, I was hanging out with her and said, "Listen, just for research, I'm going to need to have the first couple picks of the draft on because Aaron Rodgers might get traded." I immediately texted you and said, things got interesting.
Yeah. You texted me before I was doing some other stuff, but before I was able to get the update, you texted me and I was just like, things are gonna get very interesting, if you know what I mean.
So yeah, I don't care at all.
I don't either.
Good on you. Actually, good on you, Adam Schefter.
You know what? Adam Schefter knows how to play the game. Don't hate the player. Hate the game, and people are hating the player when they should be hating the game, and the game has been going on forever right now.
Money, please.
Exactly. This episode of the 4th and 1 podcast is brought to you by Duke's Fur. Do you think confetti is awesome? Do you love glitter? Then you're gonna love Duke's Fur. Duke's Fur, high premier, the Gucciest of dog
Did you just
hair.
say high premier?
High quality premier.
There
was
you
high,
go.
Comma, premier.
Okay,
comma,
high quality.
Gucci.
Yep, okay, there we go.
Yeah, high quality. The highest of quality, I guess, is what I was trying to go with. The premier dog hair. Listen, it goes everywhere. It's beautiful. It's fluffy. It comes with a smile. And if you act right now, and use of course, you go to Duke.com, use the promo code 4th and 1, you will get water everywhere for half off. It's great. He drinks it. It goes everywhere. And it annoys his mom and dad.
And then we will put that in a container and send it to you.
Yeah. Again, Duke.com, promo code 4th and 1.
To get Duke's hair. So you did a lovely, lovely interview with the Alex Messina, who, for those of you who don't know, go back an episode. It's literally the last video posted.
Yep. Last episode posted everywhere that our podcast is.
And give that a like on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and enable your notifications. On Spotify, make sure you subscribe to us there so you know when new episodes come out. Wherever you get your podcasts. It was a great interview. It changed. I listened to it because I was at work. I listened to it after. And he really changed our mind about the Super League. Very articulate. I thought he did a great job. Give that video a like, everyone, to let us know if you like it or not, because we're planning on having him back on as a guest at some point. We really liked him.
He was, no offense to Tabitha or Jeb, he was our best kind of guest so far. But that's kind of how these soccer guys are. Yeah, it was great. I just kind of wanted to wrap up, let everybody know, hey, like, go ahead and go listen to that podcast. He changed our mind. I got a lot of things wrong that we covered also at last week's episode. So go ahead and give that a listen. It was great. Congratulations to Christian Pulisic and all the guys from Chelsea.
Yes, who made the final.
Who made the final. They're playing Manchester City in the final there. So he was the first American male to score a Premier League goal. He had a goal in the first half of the. They do them in 2 games and then compare statistics, and whoever has the better statistics, basically whoever has more goals wins. He had in the first half of the set, I'm going to call it. There's an actual term. He had a goal, and then he had an absolute sick assist in the second game, which put them up 2-0, and they went and ran away with it. So congratulations to Pulisic, congratulations to Hershey and Legacy FC, and Penn FC. I didn't know he also played for Penn FC, which used to be the Harrisburg City Islanders. Congratulations. Hope you guys win. We'll be watching the game, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It is only one game. The final is only one game. Some other things that kind of just happened outside of football that we're just going to dive into. A Oakland Athletics pitcher, Jesus Lorenzo, suffered a broken hand while playing a video game. Now, you did hear me right. He was playing a video game, broke his hand. This wouldn't be the first time a pitcher has injured himself playing a video game. Last year, David Price hurt himself playing a video game. And this isn't the first time that a Major League Baseball player has hurt themselves doing or has gotten a bizarre injury. Are you looking up more bizarre injuries for Major League Baseball players?
No, I mean, David Price, he was sucking, and the Boston Red Sox blended on Fortnite in 2018. So they made him stop playing Fortnite. That was the other thing. Yeah.
So for all of you gamers who get made fun of for saying that it's not a sport, say we can hurt ourselves. Just look at the MLB. They do it all the time. Also, if you are a gamer and listen to this podcast, comment down below your most bizarre or not most bizarre, any injury you have sustained playing video games.
Sober, please. Playing video games sober. Playing video games drunk and getting injured.
It is just bound to happen. Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather Jr. So Logan Paul is, how do you describe Logan Paul?
Annoying.
Okay, no, but how did he get his fame? Like, where did he originally come from?
So he was originally a Vine star, and then when Vine crashed, he moved to YouTube and basically took a bunch of suburban moms' money through their 13-year-old sons for being just an absolute jerk of a person and a human being. So he got famous. Or is that Jake? He has a brother who looks just like him, like me and Micaiah, who apparently we look alike, and they are basically obnoxious and annoying. So and they got famous for being obnoxious.
Which one went to Japan or Korea and went to?
Oh dear,
was that Jake or Logan? Just to prove your point.
I have to look it up. Is it Jake Paul fighting or is it Logan Paul fighting? Oh, it is Jake Paul.
No, it's Logan Paul. Jake Paul and Mayweather got into it yesterday at the press conference.
They were also Disney Channel stars as well. Him and his brother.
Yeah, so they got fame, and now Logan has started a boxing career where basically he knocked out Nate Robinson, who was a ex-basketball player. Then he knocked out a UFC fighter last week. He knows how to box, and he's a big guy. So now, for money, of course, he is going to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., who...
Logan, they both box. I just realized that. And it's Logan Paul.
They do both box, but Logan's the better boxer. So...
Well, Logan only currently... Okay, sorry. According to this, Logan has one fight and one loss. So no, Jake's actually the better boxer. This is legitimately how hard it is to tell these guys apart. I'm looking on their Wikipedias right now. Jake Paul has 3 fights, 3 by KO. He's the guy who knocked... He knocked... Wait, why is it saying that he lost? Oh, that was Paul versus Robinson. Okay, no. Paul, he did fight Nate Robinson.
Yeah, Logan's been the more high-profile boxer here.
No, that's Jake who fought Robinson. Oh. But Logan's going to fight...
Wait, who just fought the UFC fighter?
That would be Jake. Jake just fought the UFC fighter.
So why is Logan fighting Mayweather?
Because Mayweather doesn't want to lose.
Okay, well,
guys, we're sorry. This is the worst podcast ever, but we're trying to figure this out.
So then this fight makes no sense to me. First of all,
it doesn't.
Mayweather is, in some people's minds, the greatest boxer, one of the greatest boxers of all time. He is definitely the greatest one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time.
Yes.
You can barely touch him. He is undefeated, technically, and yes, he's old, but still. You're going to put a YouTube star up against Floyd Mayweather. I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan. I root for him to get knocked out in every live match. He's basically just in it for the money, which I can't blame him at this point. But this is one of the few times I am hoping that Mayweather gets the knockout. Because listen, I'm tired of these Paul brothers going at it. I'm tired of YouTube stars or internet stars thinking that they can just run the world when they can.
So Logan Paul was the suicide. He's known as the less annoying brother, which is kind of funny. And
I would agree with that. I mean, based on the video yesterday,
is 97. So he is the older brother. He had a controversy where he went to like the suicide forest and he showed like a dead body and stuff like that. He ended up he came back after that. He came back onto the scene for fighting another YouTuber called KSI, which he lost by decision.
Okay,
not by knockout.
Yeah.
So, which was big. That was big. Like they fought in Staples Center for 6 rounds. I don't know what money was involved. That was more of like a
lot of money, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah. And more of like a clout.
Okay.
Thing. They were kind of beefing. That was more of like a beef thing. He's a little bit more respectable. I'm just seeing how much, if there's any money.
Oh, if Mayweather's involved,
there's a ton. There's a ton of money. There's a ton of money on this. So Jake has his younger brother, has more just known for being annoying. Him and the house that they rented in like Beverly Hills or whatever, they trashed. They turned the pool into it. He's the one that's annoying. He's the one that's like the F boys. He's a stereotypical F boy, but he's fought 3 different people and won by KO 3 times. So I don't know why. I think is Logan. They're both cruiserweights. So they're the same size.
Logan. So
you
yesterday,
would think Mayweather would want to take on Jake.
Yeah. Well, after yesterday, he definitely will. So yesterday at the press conference, the weigh-in happened, or whatever it was. The press conference happened. First of all, Mayweather's a lot shorter than Logan. So he's given up some height there, and I'm sure some reach. But again, it won't matter.
5-6 inches shorter.
It won't matter because Mayweather's a great boxer. But then afterwards, Jake Paul and Mayweather were jawing at each other, and Jake stole Mayweather's hat and ran away. And then the entourages got involved, and then Mayweather's screaming that he's going to kill Jake. So I honestly don't know. Like, Jake would be the better draw for Showtime boxing. Like, that would make more money between Jake and Mayweather than Logan and Mayweather.
I think what my guess happened. So this was originally scheduled to take place like in February or something like that. Also, Chad Johnson is going to be an undercard fight.
Oh my gosh, Chad Johnson just lost $50,000 on the UFC, the Usman and Masvidal UFC fight last week.
Yeah, which I just find funny. Sorry. I'm guessing what happened is Logan was looking for another fight. Mayweather's like, yeah, let's go make some money. Logan was like, yeah, let's go make some money.
But a Jake Paul fight and Mayweather fight, I think is going to happen next.
Well, you have to remember, Jake Paul's fights were all, I'm looking for this year, were basically, his first fight was last year, which was fine. Then it was November 28th. Then it was April 17th. Again, so like his big one against Nate Robinson, that was just kind of a haha, that's funny. Nate didn't even try. Then he came out, was like, oh, this is serious. So I think what happened is he kind of developed it while they were still in talks, and they didn't want to change the card, or Logan wouldn't let him change the card. And so that whole thing happened. So, I would prefer to see a Jake Mayweather, and I think we're going to see one, especially if
after yesterday.
Especially when Floyd Mayweather destroys Logan
for sure. Then the younger brother wants a piece, and he stole his hat yesterday. So that's going to happen. That's June something or the other. So I'm excited for that to see what happens there. LeBron James is whining about the play-in tournament. You hear about that?
I'm sure he is.
Okay, so the NBA is having this thing where the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds will now play a play-in tournament. The 7 and 8 will play. If you win, you're in the playoffs. The loser of the 7 and 8 play the winner of 9 and 10. Okay? Right. Then the winner of that game, so let's just say 9 beats 10 and 7 beats, or an 8 loses to 7. Then the winner of 8 and 9 will play, and that winner becomes the 8 seed in the playoffs. It does create an extra 2 games, but if you're the 7 and 8 seed, all you have to do is win 1 game, and then you're in the playoffs. That's it. If you are the 9 or the 10 seed, you have to win 2 games to be in. LeBron James said that whoever came up with this idea should be fired, and that it is terrible for the NBA. Well, first of all, LeBron James, no, it's not. It's excellent for the NBA in ratings. Your ratings sucked last year. Your championship was terrible. Literally no one watched it. Everyone hated it. So creating more ratings, that would be an idea for maybe that you would want, so that you could get paid your ridiculous $40+ million salary that the Lakers are paying you. First of all, you're just angry because you might actually have to play in it, and who's going to care? You're going to win that matchup anyway, so who cares? And thirdly, LeBron James, stop being the whiny superstar who will never be back to 100% after his high ankle sprain. Get over it, bro. Okay.
Yeah, MJ wouldn't have cared. MJ would have been like, you want to see me run through everyone?
Pound some arses.
I love this. What I heard the quote was, who was MJ and Kobe's coach?
Phil Jackson.
What was his name? Phil Jackson. He said the difference between between Kobe and LeBron. Kobe was super competitive and would want to beat you at basketball.
Yep.
MJ wanted to beat you at everything.
Yeah.
Okay. so that's number one. So if you want to be the greatest of all time, shut up and play ball.
Yep.
Okay. Third thing for this,
you went 1 to 3. Yep. There you go.
So second thing for this, there's a problem with the NBA and their ratings, and the reason it's kind of syndrome when everyone's super, no one is. The league is so top heavy. There's so much talent at this point that I don't care. Like, it's just going to happen. I'll watch 1 or 2 games of the finals, and that will be interesting. I'd rather watch the NCAA tournament. Like, that's your problem. That's the problem that you're having right now.
They're creating an NCAA tournament.
You need to if you want. That's what I'm saying. So LeBron James, if you want to get paid all your money and you don't want the NHL to take over or MLB to come back, you need to shut up and play ball, or you're not going to get paid.
Yeah. So LeBron James just whines away, whines. And honestly, LeBron, it kind of reminded me of a toddler who isn't getting his way, and so he throws a temper tantrum.
Yeah, 100%. He's upset that he's having a bad time because his best friend is injured and isn't able to help him out, and now he has to put the team on his back.
Who just got injured again
last
last night? Anthony Davis.
Are you surprised?
Yeah. No, the Lakers are in the middle of a losing streak, so they might have to play in it. An NBA star that did not whine, and I kind of want to wrap up with this. Unfortunately, everyone, that special guest I promised you will not be able to join us for this show.
This is why we shouldn't have spoiled it.
Yeah, so she won't be joining us for this episode
Because it's garbage.
Drop a like though if you want to see part 2 of Gamer Girl who knows almost nothing about hockey. Wink, wink. For those of you who think I'm being serious, I'm just gonna leave that with that.
No one cares.
So I want to wrap up with this. The world needs to be more like Kevin Durant and the NBA ref last night. So,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
Teach me about it.
So last night, the Nets played the Mavericks. Kevin Durant was guarding Luka. Luka goes in as a drive, and Kevin Durant gets called for a foul. So Luka's going to the line to shoot. Kevin Durant calmly walks out to the referee, and they have a 2-minute long conversation about how Kevin feels that the call was not. There was nothing else Kevin could do to play good defense and still not foul Luka Doncic. And the ref was then calmly saying in response to him the ways that what the ref needed Kevin to do to play good defense and not be called for the foul. And the ref said, basically, your hands were too low. And so Luka kind of did the sweeping motion and caught Kevin Durant's arm right in here, and which is a foul. And it hindered his shooting motion. And the ref was saying, listen, your hands were down, and all I need you to do, you played great defense, your body was in great position, moving your feet. All I need you to do, your hands be up here. If your hands are up here, it's not a foul. And now Luka's, and he even said, now Luka's going to complain, right? So then I'm going to have to, so I think the world, in today's society, the world is so let's yell at each other when we don't feel it's going our way. Yeah. Let's crucify those who are against us. Let's be like Kevin Durant. And I'm sorry, ref, I tried to look up his name. I don't know your name. Let's be like Kevin Durant and that ref last night. Let's have a civil conversation. And both members walked away and said, both members walked away from it with a Bender understanding of, because Kevin Durant's point was, there's nothing else I could do. Yeah, nothing else I could do. And the ref said, why that may be, all you have to do is raise your arms and it's not a foul. And he says,
100%.
And then Kevin Durant was made the point where it's so hard to do with Luka because he's so crafty at doing it. He's kind of like James Harden. So I just think this world needs to be more like, we all need to have civil conversations and not just scream at each other for no reason.
And to bring this back to sports for a second, the NBA refs currently in this year of sports, past 365 days, year to date, have been the best refs, hands
For
down.
sure.
Baseball refs have sucked this year. They've missed multiple calls.
No one likes
that have
baseball
been
umpires.
upheld.
Why do baseball umpires always suck? Little League,
They've sucked, especially
Little
this
League
year.
to
I mean,
major
there's always
leagues,
the
I
Joe
feel like
West
they-
and Angel Hernandez, but they've sucked, especially this year. And the NFL refs have been struggling the past couple years. NHL refs actually do pretty good, but it's that you need to have that conversation and you need to understand, and you need to admit when you're wrong and also kind of teach. And you, as a player, you need to understand that they're there to uphold the rules and to develop the game. And it's not a bad thing. I sometimes didn't like a call in high school that refs would make, but I still always I knew that most refs would allow me to go up and be like, how did I screw up there? And they would tell me, and I'd be like, awesome, thanks. And then, normally I would be like, okay, and frustrated and walk away. But you're 100% correct. Do it in sports, do it in real life, and everybody's going to be happier.
Exactly. Well, this has been the 4th and 1 podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. As always, wash your hands because y'all are filthy animals. I want everyone to drop a like if you watch this video at any point at all. Thank you so much for all of you who do watch and subscribe. For those of you who are new, subscribe down below. We love making these podcasts, so we're going to continue to do that. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great weekend or week, depending on when this video is posted. Thank you so much. God bless. Wash your hands. Peace out.